island just off the coast of Holland and France. Richard was mentioning 9/11, and I just thought I'd share with you one story that after 9/11 that I took part in. After 9/11, which is obviously a very, very big event for the industry, I was invited to a dinner, and I was sitting next to the Archbishop of Canterbury. And the Archbishop of Canterbury said to me, I gather things are tough at VA, and I said, yes, they are. And he said, I've been praying for British Airways. I said, well, thank you very much, and that's very kind of you. And he then turned to me and he said, yes, he said, I've got lots of air miles. As you know, Willie Walsh, my predecessor, attended the event in 2010 and committed that we would return this year. And to Richard's point, I do travel in hope for what might happen to me next, but I'm very happy to honour Willie's commitment to be here. I have to say it's a relatively short trip. I arrived last night and unfortunately need to leave this afternoon. That hardly, I know, makes me the perfect tourist. But I think you can count me as one of your stopover statistics, so I add to those. And if it's any consolation, my wife and daughter were here 3 weeks ago, and I'm sure they definitely boosted the local economy. My family and I still count the Caribbean as one of our favourite destinations. So this is a really important trip for me, and I'd like to say thank you for all the support you've given me, both personally over the last few years and professionally during my time at British Airways. So what am I going to talk about today? I want to cover off 4 main themes, if that's okay. The first is the state of the economies. The second is what's happening to the aviation industry. Thirdly, what British Airways is doing about things. And finally, some of the other factors that are impacting the industry that we see today. Now, the tourism industry is never one to stay still, and much has changed since Willie spoke last year. 2010 was predicted to be a difficult year for travel and tourism, and indeed it was. The latest ABTA figures, the Association of British Travel Agents report, indicates that the number of holidays taken in 2010 dropped from the previous year, and sales in 2011 have been slow to recover. Our own sales figures support that trend. Although we've seen a rise in premium ticket sales, mostly supported by an increase in corporate spending, it's true to say that leisure sales are still governed by price. Now, travel hasn't been the only sector to suffer. The British Retail Consortium recently reported that despite a modest improvement in sales during the past few months, overall conditions remain difficult for retailers. Growth in the UK has been stagnant, and only last week the British Chamber of Commerce downgraded its forecast for the UK economy growth this year for the 3rd time in succession. It now expects the UK economy to expand at just 1.1% in 2011, compared to its 1.3% estimate in June and 1.9% at the start of the year. The other factor impacting the UK is unemployment, which is stubborn and continues to rise, partly as the government impacts the public sector and reduces the number of people in employment in the public sector, and the private sector hasn't yet started to take up those employees. Now, the global recession continues to cast a shadow over the travel sector, with KISS flights and tour operators Holiday for You being the latest victims in the UK, and probably not the last. To achieve stability and increased growth, we're seeing a trend towards business consolidation across the travel industry. Most recently, we've seen the merger between Thomas Cook and the Co-op, and of course, in my sector, there's the creation of International Airline Group, which includes British Airways and Iberia. Merging with Iberia makes us a bigger player in global aviation. In fact, we're now the 6th largest group in the world in terms of revenue. In terms of employees, together we employ something like 60,000 employees, to give you an idea, which I think is about half the people on the island here. So we are a significant employer in Europe, and we work together to improve the profitability of the group and the two companies. It also means that we're better able to withstand the uncertainties and occasional shocks of the world economy. Whether that is snow, whether it's ash, whether it's other factors that impact our services. And we continue to be able to invest better in new products and services, and I'll share with you later on some of the products and services that we're introducing at British Airways. We will build on both airlines' strength and leadership in our respective markets. Iberia in Latin America and British Airways in North America and the Asia Pacific, to jointly strengthen our position in both Europe and Africa. And with spare capacity available to Iberia's hub in Madrid, we have room to expand significantly further, particularly in terms of services to South America, which is likely to be one of the fastest growing aviation regions in the decades ahead. Of course, there's also been huge investment from the Middle Eastern carriers, and with increased volume and capacity comes keener pricing and greater consumer choice, both in terms of airlines and destinations. With marketing spend in the Middle East and Far East at an all-time high, competition is intense. And together, you and I, must work hard to ensure that the Caribbean maintains its position as one of the world's most popular destinations. And that's something I'd like to come back to in a few moments. Now, our merger with Iberia was the culmination of a 12-year relationship. And we waited even longer to achieve our transatlantic joint business with American Airlines, which finally got regulatory approval last year. Together, these two strategic milestones give our customers smoother connectivity to the wider world. We can now offer access to a global network of more than 500 destinations. As well as more destinations, our transatlantic partnership offers customers a wider choice of fares and the ability to mix and match their itinerary based on schedule or price. Our new structures underpin our ability to grow. For example, we recently launched a route from London to Puerto Rico with easy American Airlines connections to 7 other destinations in the region, which is great news for the Caribbean. Under the IAG banner, we look forward to reaping the benefits, and we expect further consolidation within the leisure industry, and that will help secure the future of many other businesses. Now, looking at British Airways, the good news from the BA perspective is that despite the economic downturn, there has been a significant demand for premium travel, which allows us to refute the claims that there is no market today for our first-class product. And indeed, that we've invested in, and we continue to invest in our premium products. British Airways has also seen the best travel sale results in its history, which indicates that even if the price is right, people are still prepared to travel. However, everything depends on improving the quality of the service to our customers. And that's something I'd like to address now, because it's that creates the value. The investment in our customers is crucial, and as we start on a new chapter under my tenure at British Airways, I'm absolutely determined to put our customers at the heart of everything that we do. Customers today are difficult to retain and difficult to bring in. There's intense competition, and we all need to do whatever we can to bring in those customers and retain their loyalty once we've brought them in. Now, it shouldn't just be